So today Bitcoin moved up. So let's take a look at MSTY and see what it did. Then we're also going to take a look at PLTY and see how it's doing. Hello my friends, this is Legend. Today we're going to take a look at MSTY because Bitcoin ran up nicely today. And as you can see, the MSTY here, the distribution rate being at 92.9. And then afterwards, we're also going to take a look at PLTY. As you can see, the distribution rate for this one is 143%. So let's just slide right over to the Webull chart and let's get going. All right, so here we are on MSTY, MSTY. Now, as you can see, we had a very nice move today. Look at this nice green candle. I love to see green candles, and that was a nice one. We are still showing our support line at that $20.38, but today we ended up closing at $21.21. Yes, love it. Check it out, 3.01%. That's got to get you a little excited, especially after we came down as low as $20.04 just a few days ago, and then popped right back up above our little support line, which gave us some nice green volume here. Right now we're looking at the actual chart, and it's showing the actual movements of these candles of the stock itself each day. We're looking at the day interval, and I have heard a lot of people ask, why does it drop so much on the X date? What's happening, right? So as you can see here, on the day before the X date, it closed at $22.19. We earned that distribution of $1.47. Well, the next day, which was the X date, it opened at $20.94. So let's just use our handy dandy calculator right here, and let's just plug it in and let's just see what happened. So we know that the day before it closed at $22.19, and if we subtract that opening of the X date of $20.94, we get $1.25, right? And what did we get paid out on that distribution date? $1.47. So that price, that $1.47, comes out of the price of that ETF on the X date. Now, looks like it only actually opened $1.25 below the close of the day before, which means there had to be some pre-market movement from that point up until opening, or overnight movement from the close of that day before. But either way, that distribution will come out of the price, and that's why you always see this big drop in the candle or the price of that ETF on X date, is because that distribution, that $1.47, will come out of the price. Because if it did not, and you closed the day before X date at $22, just using a round number, and if you got paid out $1.50, and then that X date, it was still opening at that previous close of the day before, $22, then basically you could buy the day before at 22, sell on the X date at 22, meaning it didn't cost you anything to own the stock or ETF, and you also made $1.50. So that's 100% on your money, as you would buy and sell for the same price and just earn the distribution. So why in the world would they allow that? Because then everybody would be doing it and everybody would be rich. So don't think you've found a way to scam the system on that deal. Believe me, they've already worked it out. They're covered. So that distribution comes out of the price of the stock. And that's why if you buy the day before, and then if you were to sell that day of X date, then it becomes pretty much of a wash, right? If you make $1.50 and it drops $1.50 in the price and you sell it, well, you just broke even, and that's not counting any kind of taxes or anything like that from earning that distribution and so forth. So that's the reason why you see those stocks drop the day of the distribution. So I just wanted to point that out as well. But for me, I'm looking for that candle to be on the bottom side of that Bollinger Band area and that RSI 2 to be below 10. So let's just see where it's at. And when I'm looking at the indicators, I like to switch my chart and I like to put it on the adjusted. And as you can see here, our candle is now just slightly above that midpoint, and that RSI 2, it's sitting at 84. So I am at a wait point for MSTY currently. And that's all I really use those indicators for, is to help me determine a better buy point to buy additional shares. Now, if you take this and if I click on MSTR, you'll see these candles look very similar. And that's why, to me, you can look at either chart as they both will look very similar to each other. I realize that people are not buying and selling MSTY and causing this price to move up or down. This is all off the movement of MSTR along with their option plays and such. But the overall chart looks will be almost the same. So just to prove it, I will click on MSTR and you will notice there is not much of a change. Boom, there we are. And look at that. Same kind of look, right? Just above the midpoint of that Bollinger Band. We've got that RSI at 85. We are curling up on that MACD. Our momentum on the negative side is decreasing, and that's good. We'd love to see this cross up and hopefully move to the positive side and start seeing some green momentum here. Would love to see that. So now we know that MSTY moved 3% for the day, and Mr. Check it out, 4.7%. Wow, nice. Very, very nice move for Mr. So yes, Mr. moved up more than MSTY, but that's not really surprising to us because MSTY is capped on the upside just due to its nature of the option plays. But that's okay because we're in it for the distributions anyway. But as you can see, with Mr. earning 4.7% on the upside and MSTY earning 3% on the upside, we got a little price movement as well. So I'll take that all day long. But what is causing Mr. to move up? Well, I think we all know. It is Bitcoin. Check it out. Look at this candle. I mean, I don't even have to zoom in on this thing. You can see it from the back of the room. Look at that. That is huge. We are coming back up and we are now starting to test this little area right here. As you can see, these candles did come up to this point and then fell back down, right? So it looks like there is some sellers right in this area. And you can see you've got this big long wick here. That's meaning that there's a lot of sellers up here with a lot of pressure pushing Bitcoin right back down. So it gets to this point, and with that big long wick, this whole area right here, there's a bit of sellers in here. So can we get on up and break on above this? And if we can, looky, 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 112K could be our next goal. Would love to see that. Would love to see it come up and start testing that, knocking on the door of 112. And if we can open that door, boy, oh boy, we might be in for a nice little pop up. But again, nothing's guaranteed. This is all for fun and games here, guys. Just talking and just hoping, right? We're all just talking and hoping here. But as you can see, we do have this MACD. It is turning up. Love to see that nice big turn up right here on that MACD. You can see the momentum here. A huge decrease in that momentum right here. So we might get ourselves a little bit of a cross tomorrow. If not, we might end up just kind of bouncing right off of that line and knocking right back down. But that's a nice sharp turn up. We'll see if we can continue. So we're at that 64 on the RSI, so it's not overbought. And we might be looking at closer to 80 on that RSI before we actually getting into the overbought territory. And 20 on the downside to get into that oversold territory. Just because Bitcoin being more volatile, it probably has a little bit more of a range in that RSI area. So we're going to say anything above that 80 being overbought and anything under that 20 being oversold. But just love to see this nice, big, huge green candle right here. That's exciting. That's got to get you excited. Because when this is moving up, so does MSTY. Now, if we get too many times of this huge run up like this, then MSTY can't keep up and we'll keep blowing through our calls. And therefore, we won't be able to capture all of that upside. But we will continue to move up if Bitcoin moves up. We just won't be able to move up as quickly and we won't be able to capture all of that upward movement. Whereas MSTR is very possible that it can catch more of that upside than MSTY can. But just wanted to point that out, that we would love to see Bitcoin continue on further past the 110 and possibly get up and start testing this 112 area. Would love to see it. So let's just go ahead and let's go check out PLTY. And here we are on PLTY. As you can see, we had a very nice green candle today as well on PLTY. It just must have been a green candle day. So we had a movement of about 2.39% up today. Very nice. We also had a green candle on Friday. So we are seeing a little bit of a movement starting to head back up. Love to see that. And hopefully we can start breaking back above this 66.80 range. As that looks like that might be our little line in the sand for PLTY. But let's just go ahead and change the chart here. And we're going to flip it back over to the adjusted. And here we are on the adjusted chart. And this is the chart that I like to use so that I can see if it's time to buy or not to buy for PLTY. So I'm looking at the Bollinger Band and I'm looking for that candle to live on the bottom end of that Bollinger Band. And I'm also looking for that yellow RSI 2 line here to drop below 10. And as you can see, we don't have either one of them. So for me, it's not my buy time. It may be yours because maybe you use different indicators, whether it's a price or whatever, and that is up to you. That's just how I decide when to buy into these. I use the Bollinger Band and I use the RSI. And I do realize that these candles are not representing people buying in and selling out of PLTY. This is only movement in relation to PLTR, which is the underlying. So as PLTR moves, so does PLTY. So let's just go ahead and let's check out Palantir. And here we are on Palantir, and as you can see, again, it's just like MSTY and Mr. PLTY and Palantir. When you flip between the charts, they look almost identical. And that's why I don't mind using the PLTY charts to decide when to buy versus using the Palantir chart, right? Or MSTY to Mr. because they are very close to being the same. So as you can see here, we did have a nice green candle. We are above that midpoint on the Bollinger Band. We are trying to yet again try to cross that signal line on Palantir. Looks like we did work to try to cross it here. Got really close to the signal line and then it got rejected, right? And now it's come down and it's starting to yet again test that signal line. Can we break above it? Well, that depends if we can get above this roughly 135 area. If we can get above $135 range, then we can get that cross on that MACD and start getting some positive momentum down here, which is some of these green bars, as that would be a good sign that Palantir is continually to move on up. But only time will tell. Now on the RSI 14, we're looking at a 59. So we're pretty close to about right there in the middle. And Palantir, since it is a stock, I'm going to go with the 70-30 on the RSI. So anything above 70 would be overbought, and anything below 30 is going to be oversold, unlike it was for Bitcoin plays because of the volatility. Palantir is not a Bitcoin play. So I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about the moves on MSTY and PLTY. Both had nice green candles. Both had some nice movement. The underlying for both of them were up, and the YieldMax ETF came really close to trying to capture a good portion of that movement up on the underlying for both of those. So super excited to hear that and to see it. How about you? Do you have any PLTY? Do you have any MSTY? If you're watching my videos, I'm sure you probably definitely have some MSTY out there somewhere. But how about PLTY, PLTY? Do you have any of that? Are you interested in that? I've got a few shares of PLTY and Palantir, along with MSTY and MSTR. PLTY and MSTY are my income plays, right? Because it's YieldMax, we're earning that distributions on a 4-week basis. So that's more of an income play on my part. And MSTR and Palantir are more of the price appreciation play. I'm looking to capture some of that price movement up, right? I'm not selling any of it, but that is more the price appreciation plays in my case. So before I wrap it up, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who has bought me a coffee to get access to the spreadsheet. It is much appreciated, and I definitely appreciate the support. And if you have got a copy of that spreadsheet, when you first open it, it will be a view only. You do not want to click that view only and then request access to the sheet, as I cannot give you access to the sheet because that sheet is the same sheet that everyone else uses. You have to make a digital copy of it, and that first tab, once you do open that view only sheet that you had the link to, it will walk you through how to download and make your copy of that sheet so that it will then be an editable sheet for you to enter in your positions. The view only will not allow you to enter in any information, and I cannot give you access to that sheet. So please make your copy of it by following the instructions under download your copy, which is the first tab of that Google Sheets. So I just wanted to clear that up, as I have been seeing a few requests for editor rights, and that's just because you're clicking that view only and requesting editing rights. And just wanted to let you know that's not how you get your copy. You simply go over to that first tab of that sheet where it says download your copy and follow the instructions there. It has the computer instructions and it has instructions for the phone as well. You will see that in that first tab. But I do appreciate each and every one of you who have helped to support my channel. I am very thankful and very appreciative. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, smash the like button, it'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.